Hello there. This is the third and final video on the Marvel's MR216 faux tortoiseshell Whittler. We're going to sharpen the coping blade today on this knife. And for that, I'm going to use my Dan's Washita with a side that's prepped for 60 to 90 with 60 to 90 grit, a combination of that. Sick. This is what makes this knife a Whittler is that coping blade. This blade is meant to be perfectly straight all the way across, and we're going to endeavor to keep that straightness. I like this stone. It looks a lot like the old Washitas. I'm sure that it's not. I'm sure that it's Dan's version of a soft Arkansas that they think has the characteristics of a Washita. I don't care. It's a beautiful stone, and it does a fantastic job all the way up to a finish on the knife if you really want to. I can draw a burr on this side and remove it and clean up any problems I might have on the bevel at the same time. Then flip it over to the finer prepped side and put a working finish on it similar to, maybe a little bit more refined than a standard soft Arkansas. So I'm gonna, because I want this blade to stay straight, I'm gonna find my angle and I'm gonna lay it like this. And I'm going to look for a burr, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to find one. Yeah. Gorgeous. So I'm going to turn it. I'm going to put just a few drops on there. Clean the swarf off of this stone. And just put a few drops more on it. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find that angle. I'm running it straight up and down the stone. I'm looking for a burr, and I have one. So now what I'm going to do, make alternating passes. Check for a burr. I got a slight burr there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle method, but instead of forward, I'm going to do that right there. It would be the same if I was to take the knife and just pull it back. I just chose to do it with a circle. And I don't feel a burr, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make certain that there's no burr on that knife edge. Lovely. And then what I'm going to do, remember I said that this stone is capable of refinement. That's exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to flip it over. Going to add a few drops of Earl, you know that guy Earl. And we're just going to go light to no pressure, just enough to keep the knife from skipping across the stone. All right, I think that's probably good enough. Now, I want to say something. What you've seen in this video, the last 3 videos in this series on sharpening this knife, and something that I've tried to stress all along, I want to reiterate. I did not start on a Norton fine or medium or coarse India stone. I started this knife on an Arkansas stone, a soft Arkansas stone, or in this case, for this blade, the Washita, on the coarser side of this Washita. There's a reason for that. There was nothing wrong with this bevel. I've already previously sharpened this bevel. I've removed all the rough marks from like the belt sander that they use at the factory to put an edge on it with, that kind of deal. There was no damage to the edge of this knife on either one of these blades, right? So why would I want to put it on a fine Arkansas, a fairly coarse stone? I know it says it's fine, but it's fairly coarse, trust me. Why would I want to put it and take that kind of steel, that much steel off of this blade and shorten the life of the knife, when I know that one of these Arkansas stones is soft, or this Washita will turn a burr up on this knife and remove it and polish it so that I can use it, particularly if I decide to go to a strop after. That'll be a screaming good edge, and it doesn't take as long. You see, it didn't take very long to do that, okay? It doesn't take very long. It doesn't take a bunch of steel off of my knife. That is something you should consider when you're sharpening your knives, whether you really, really need to go back to that really coarse stone. Now, if you put a knife on a soft Arkansas or a Washita or some other fairly fine stone, and you end up struggling to bring up a burr or struggling to get an edge, then drop down to something lower. But if you don't have anything wrong with the knife, if the bevel's not really damaged or anything like that, you do not need to go all the way back to a fine or a medium, or God forbid, a coarse India or crystalline stone, or aluminum oxide or silicon carbide. Because that's aluminum oxide is India, silicon carbide is crystalline. Okay, but you don't need that. You just need to bring the edge back so that you can use it. And truth be told, I probably could have put one or all of these blades just on a pasted strop, and it probably, after about 30 or 40 passes on that, they would probably shave. But this is a sharpening channel part. This playlist, I got a bunch of stuff on this channel. There's a purpose in that, and it's so that people can find good, family-friendly, and Christian, hopefully godly content that they can go to instead of all the smut and the trash that's all over the airwaves and all over the interwebs. So that's the reason for this channel. And if you're not a child of God and you like my stuff, I welcome you here. If you have a problem with Jesus and Christianity, you can go somewhere else. There's all kinds of people on this platform that don't believe. So anyway, this is meant for believers. It's also meant to maybe share the love of Christ in ways that I can. Hence, I preach on here sometimes. So anyway, God bless you. That's the marbles. I think it's an MR216 Swayback Whittler with faux tortoiseshell scales. I love this knife. It's one of my very, very favorite knives, and I carry it all the time. It's beautiful, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg and your left nostril. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.